been in that place in your life where, like, you like being single and you like your own time and space, but you still want to have somebody to talk to every day, and like you want to snuggle on the couch and watch a movie, and you want to like hold hands and hug, and you have an incredibly high sex drive for the first time in your life, but you don't want to just sleep around. You want to find somebody that you can sleep with consistently, but you don't want that person sleeping with anybody else. So, but you don't want to be in a relationship, but you don't really want to be single either. I do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh.
Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video, and on today's episode we are going to be covering single mothers and why they are a very bad idea for a man to get involved with. Now, this woman that you're seeing right here on your screen also happens to be struggling to find a man, as she is still single, over 30 years of age. Despite the fact that she says that she's happy being single, guys, we can clearly tell that she's out here struggling. Now, before we jump into today's episode, guys, as always, remember to subscribe on your way in, and don't forget to subscribe to our newest member of Fiend Gang, guys. I'm going to get my editor to put up a graphic of his channel right now, Mr. Detective Warg. He's putting out daily content for you, gentlemen, because, as you all know, I am pulling my animated hair out covering this garbage by myself. So we are slowly expanding Fiend Gang. Make sure that you go and show him some love on his channel, linked in the video description. And let's jump into this video right here. So this is a video from the exact same woman, and she's going to tell us how she is dealing with a narcissist as a single mother. So let's take a listen.
Co-parenting with a narcissist. Okay. I am currently waiting to go into court this morning to fight his request for 50-50 custody because he utilized meth while he had our son, took him and refused to give him back. He had him in a home that was deemed uninhabitable by the county, and yet I'm still in default with the court because I don't have the money to pay for an attorney because he doesn't pay for child support. I just can't.
You know what's so beautiful about these situations, guys, is women will sit here and they will complain about a man. You know, they'll say, he's a narcissist, he's terrible, he did this, he did that, which I can agree with them on, okay? Typically the dude, you know, maybe he has some terrible qualities, he does some stupid things, sure, we can agree on that. But it just amazes me how they always seem to forget the part where they chose the man. Right? They'll always phrase it as though this narcissist entered my life, or this terrible man ruined my life. But the fact remains that you chose to let that man enter your life. You can have, like, guys, this woman right here, she's over 30 years of age. She's not terrible looking, and yet she ends up with a dude who clearly, you know, if we're to take her word here, is not fit to be a father. Okay, so like, where's the accountability? Like, yes, I get it, the dude's bad, sure. Right? If what you're saying is true, wholeheartedly agree with you. Okay? But notice how these situations, guys, it's always like, let's complain about the other person and never take some accountability for the fact that we chose that other person. And right at the beginning, guys, you can hear that word narcissist come up.
Co-parenting with a narcissist. Okay. I am currently waiting to go into court this morning.
I wonder how many men are waiting to go. It's funny, right? Because, like, they'll sit here and they'll be like, man, dudes are out here just gaslighting us, they're oppressing us and crap like that. But let me tell you something. When a man walks into court, it's completely different on average to when a woman walks into court, right? There's a good chance she'll walk away from this and the guy won't get that 50-50 custody, right? If what she's saying is true, there's a very solid chance that the dude won't be getting 50-50 custody at all, right? But there are a lot of dudes out here who they go through courts, right? Whether that be divorce courts or family courts, and they get screwed over, right? Absolutely screwed over. So, like, you chose this man, right? And we can assume that, I don't know, you just ignored his qualities, I guess. Now you end up in this situation and now you're complaining about it, which brings us to this video right here, guys, okay? So afterwards, she now comes and she says, like, she's okay being single, but she wants someone to be there and all of this garbage. So I think my editor would have played this one in the beginning, but let's take a listen and break it down piece by piece.
Have you ever been in that place in your life where, like, you like being single and you like your own time and space, but you still want to have somebody to talk to every day?
Yeah, so basically what you want, right, is you don't want like any of the, they want to have dudes, right? But they just want the attention. They just want the validation. They want somebody who's going to be there, who's going to listen to her problems, who's going to tell her it's going to be okay. Hey, maybe pitch in for the bills because, you know, she's struggling out here, guys. You know, those lawyers can't be costing not a pretty penny. So, okay. But it's just weird how we open this up. Okay. And she's saying like, oh, I'd like a man, but really I just want his attention. I just want his validation. And I'm sure, guys, we could probably extend that to a bill here or there. Right? And this is why it's so powerful as a dude. And this is why women get so mad, man. So mad if you withdraw attention from them. Because a lot of them straight up view dudes as ATMs and as means for validation and attention, and that's it. Like, guys, women will literally go out, they'll go out partying, they'll go out to the clubs and whatever, and they won't pay for a drink at all, right? And they know this. They'll go out there to take free drinks off of dudes. They enjoy the attention, they enjoy the validation, and then there's some dude sitting at home who's supposed to believe that she's going there for herself and she doesn't really care. You see, girls get into a lot of relationships. You'd be surprised how many relationships exist because they're just in there to get validation from the dude, right? Or they can't get the validation, so they're in the relationship trying to get it.
And like, you want to snuggle on the couch and watch a movie, and you want to like hold hands and hug, and you have an incredibly high sex drive for the first time in your life, but you don't want to just sleep around. You want to find somebody that you can sleep with consistently, but you don't want that person sleeping with anybody else. So, but
okay, so let's pause it right there. Basically, she wants a dude who's going to be there to have fun with, to give her attention and validation, who she doesn't have to be exclusive with, but sounds like he has to be exclusive with her, right? So basically what she wants is she wants to have a little harem of dudes potentially. Like, girls will never say this, man, but what they do is they leave the door open for the additional dudes to come in anyway. You know, like, oh, I want a boyfriend, but I really want the option to upgrade to be there at all times. I really want the option to ditch him and to go get with another man to be available to me at all times. And guys, this woman, again, she's over 30 years of age. It's not as if she couldn't have had these things. She's sitting here describing that she wants a quote-unquote relationship that's not really a relationship. She could still have these things, by the way. But the problem is she's not getting it from the men that she wants, right? Because why would the dudes that she wants, come along to a girl who's a single mother, over 30 years of age, and then, you know, just like take her in any sort of capacity as something fun or otherwise? It makes no sense.
you don't want to be in a relationship, but you don't really want to be single either. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, beautiful stuff. So let's take a look at some of the comments on this video, right, before we continue into the next one. Now, let me just pull them up because this video has 10.8 thousand comments on it. It has 122,000 likes. So a lot of women seem to resonate with the message in here. So let's take a listen to what some of these girls have to say. Danny at the top here says, please tell me when a solution to this problem is found, with a bunch of exclamation marks. Kimberlina here with a really fake name says, yes, it's called PTSD. I swear it must be, imagine, right? I want you guys to imagine for a second, right? And maybe there's some dudes in the audience who can actually relate to this, okay? But you come home from war, right? You're in the military, you're doing things that you know, you don't want to even imagine, okay? You come home from defending your country and you have PTSD, and you get on this new app, you know, while you've been out, you get on TikTok, you see what it's all about, and you see these red-haired women called Kimberlina sitting here talking about how they have PTSD. What an absolute slap in the face that is. You don't have PTSD, ma'am. It's just that dudes don't want to validate you. It's, man, it's like, this has to be one of the most like privileged, right? You have to be in such a privileged position and in such an entitled position to say crap like this. Like, everyone's just throwing around words that they have no idea what it means. W. Bennett here says, I understand completely. It's like you are my special friend, and you are not allowed to have any other special friends. Mackenzie here says, and look at Mackenzie. You can just tell, like, profile photos like this just scream, you know, like, run away, you know. This is totally me. I understand that 100%. That's so weird. I thought I was the only one. Lol. Absolutely. All this well said, says Samantha Wiseheart. Jeez, man. Jeez, this comment section is actually just genuinely terrifying. Rachel here, in her infinite beauty, says, just on the weekends, lol. Tonya says yes. Paula says yes with multiple S's. And I'm getting an aneurysm. So let's move on to the next part of the video. And guys, like, we have a bunch of single mothers pulled up here and just crap that they've been saying. So let's take a look. This one's from Single Woman Chronicles. Maybe this is some more content for the channel. So let's take a listen to what this woman has to say. And I think all of these are, they're either single women who are over 30 or they're single women who have children. So let's take a listen.
I'm so tired of hearing the phrase, nice guys finish last. That statement alone is a red flag in my mind. And let me tell you why. Because a guy, let me do it in math problems. A guy can have 5 good traits. Can have 5 traits about himself, right? Not all of them good, not all of them bad. He could just have 5 traits, right?
What is it? Guys, I make this point so many times, but like when I play these videos, it's like I feel like I'm getting yelled at. Like, a concept isn't being explained to me. I feel like I'm just actually being yelled at. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're about to engage, like we're having a confrontation whenever I click on these videos.
But one of them just so happened to be that he's nice in his mind. Because most of the time, the quote-unquote nice guys ain't even nice. But I ain't even going to get into that. So out of them 5 traits, he'll date a woman. And the woman will end up being uninterested. So as soon as she's not interested, immediately he blames the one trait, I'm kind, ignoring the other 4 traits that could have been trash. You could lack communication, lack ambition, don't listen, stank. Like, dude.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a second, okay? So we have here a 33-year-old woman who's still single, and she's ranting to us about how the phrase nice guys finish last is something that upsets her, right? It sets her off, okay? So let's just address this first of all. 33 years old and still single, you've just halved, you've literally, even if you had a fantastic opinion, like you have just cut the chances of people taking what you have to say seriously by a huge fraction. Okay, so first off, 33 years old, still single, trying to give relationship advice, probably not the best idea unless you're willingly single. Okay, if she's out here and she's purposely single, that's a different thing. But if she's wanted to have a relationship, then that's an entirely different story. Now let's address what she's had to say here, okay? The reason why guys say nice guys finish last, and a lot of the times they attribute it to being nice, is because that is the truth. Yes, there might be other reasons, okay? But the thing is, dudes have gotten together and they've been able to talk and been able to deduce that when you are a guy who's going out here just being nice to girls, pedestalizing them, treating them like the queens that they want to be treated like, gentlemen, you know, out here just communicating to the best of your ability, a lot of us knows what happens, right? No, excuse me, what happens? They get bored, they start to feel entitled, they treat you like garbage, they feel like they have you. Okay, so now all the attitude comes up and like all of this bullcrap begins, okay? Because you're sitting there trying to be nice to her, trying to solve her problems for her, when a lot of these individuals, they don't want problems solved. right? The thing is, the dudes who they get with, these dudes are not sitting there being these women's therapists and listening to what they have to say and being nice, okay? We can look at it and go, you're not even dating the nice guys. You're not even trying with the nice guys. And that's why that phrase exists, okay? Yes, there might be other reasons why a man is not liked by a woman, but there is a reason why that phrase exists. Now, let's continue into the next clip here. This is a bit of a shorter one, guys. This was the one that my editor showed me first, and it's something else, gentlemen. It's something else.
Listen, if we're talking and I don't hear from you in 1 to 2 business days, please believe your position has already been posted and the resumes are already flooding in. Baby, the sun is shining and it smells like bad decisions and regret out here. And I ain't got no time to waste.
Am I the only one who thinks it's just incredibly creepy that we have 30-plus-year-old single women spending their days making TikToks out of their cars? Like, this woman is literally, she's like half out of her car door here, making a TikTok, which no doubt she's recorded multiple times. I want to highlight this to you guys, okay? This woman has probably made this TikTok multiple times, which means what she's done is she stood in front of her door like this, and she's grabbed this drink right here, this drink. She would have put it back multiple times, put it back, taken it, put it back, taken it to get the exact shot that she wants in order to deliver this message to us, which is that, you know, it's hot girl summer, right? It's funny how they say like this hot girl summer and bad decisions and all this crap, and we're going to go out here, we're going to be boss babes, you need to reply to me or else I ghost you, as if it's the men's loss. Like, if this girl stops talking to you after you don't talk to her for 1 to 2 days, it's not an L for the man. Like, that's the funny thing. It just really isn't. Now, let's take a look at some of these comments right here, because this is pretty enlightening. It's always interesting when you come across videos like this and you read the comments of what other women have to say, guys. Like, at this point, it just kind of makes me laugh. So let's take a look here. First comment from Jen coming in with the hard-hitting comment. She says, texting takes 5 seconds. No one is ever too busy. You know what, guys? You know what? Let's just say that Jen is correct here. Texting takes 5 seconds. No one is ever too busy. You know what, gentlemen? I would encourage you to go out here and act like Jen, right? If a woman doesn't text you back in 5 seconds, guys, I want you to act indignant, right? Because that is unacceptable, right? And if you did that, that would be one of the fastest ways to run away women or to run away friends or people that you'd like to have relationships of any capacity with, because people don't have to reply in 5 seconds to you, Jennifer. Let's continue. Nicole Martis here says, 1 to 2 days is too long, 8 hours tops for me, excluding overnight hours. Ashley here says, I can't believe it's okay to go a full day, let alone 2. Oh my goodness, my anxiety would make me block them after sun up to sundown. You know, she says that her anxiety would make her block the guy, but I think you could push Ashley here to a day or 2, to be honest with you. No call, no show. It's funny, right? Because girls will say they have standards like this, like, oh, I'll block a guy if he doesn't reply back in a day. But for the guys that they really like, that's not true at all. Like, it's just not true. Like, there'd be a dude who won't text him for a week and she'll still pick up and answer his Instagram stories and all that kind of crap. Yes, Queen says, I'm not reading any more of this garbage. One yes, Queen, and I'm out. Let's continue into the next video. And this, again, is a bit of a banger. So let's take a listen.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing that I can smell a liar? I can detect the bullshit and notice the red flags and see a narcissist almost immediately now.
Yeah, me too. That's why you're in the video, right? I can detect a narcissist. I can smell the terrible behavior. I can see it from a mile out. Notice how all of these things, guys, this intuition that women have to notice the bad boys, right, and to steer clear of the red flags and the narcissism. Isn't it weird how it just coincidentally falls around the age of 30? Like, it's just like super coincidental that now they have to start having standards in dating. Now that they're starting to require commitment from men, now she understands what narcissism is, guys, because she has done her healing, she is enlightened, and she is ready to take on these narcissistic men. She's not taking your crap, gentlemen. Look at her. She's got the glasses on. She's ready for you.
Not necessarily over text, through conversation, but in person. Like, I can sense the energy. I can pick up on it almost instantaneously now.
this woman thinks she's like Doctor Strange, you know, like she's just a wizard. She can detect your energy, gentlemen. This is something else, isn't it?
And it does not take me long to figure it out.
Yes.
Men have this way, especially now, dating. I'm pushing 40. And they seem to think that they can promise us women the world and not follow through on a single thing. As if we're going to just magically forget and forgive all that bad behavior, all those red flags. Fuck no. I'm done. Fuck no.
Okay, so let's pause it there, right? Because I'll give her this, okay? To an extent, I agree with her. There are a lot of dudes out here who will sell women a dream, who will lie to them, and, you know, they'll be scum, right? There will be dudes out here who will do this, who will just lie and tell women whatever to have their fun and move on and to treat them like trash. I can see where the woman is coming from, okay? But let's not pretend as though this crap is not easy to figure out. Right, guys, like, it's funny how this woman says she can sense the energy of the guys who are narcissistic, red flags and stuff like this, right? You can sense it, and yet you've been fooled so many times by it, it seems like. Because women, when they like a man, they just ignore all the red flags, hoping that he'll change, hoping that she can change him into something, hoping that eventually she'll have that life with him, rather than secure the commitment up front. You see, guys, because back in the day, right, you would have the commitment at the beginning of the relationship. You wouldn't go around here, you wouldn't get with a whole bunch of dudes, you wouldn't just go, oh, well, I'll spend a few months with Mark over here and then I'll go to Jake for like 2 years. Oh, Jake turns out he didn't want kids. Now all of a sudden I'm pushing 40. No. See, this is why you find a good man and you secure the commitment up front. But you wanted to go out here, you wanted to have your hot girl summer until you're 40 years of age, and now you want to complain about how men are narcissists and men do terrible things. Yes, both genders do terrible things, okay, but start to take some accountability and maybe you wouldn't be in this position in the first place. Now let's continue into today's last video here, guys, and I have not seen this one, but it is titled Single Mother Dating Tip Number 1, which I could, if I was a reasonable person, I would assume that the tip would be don't, but for some reason I get the feeling that it's just not don't, you know what I mean? So let's take a listen.
This is for all you guys that say you want to date a single mom. Tip number 1.
Dude, her accent is like almost as bad as mine.
We are busy, okay? We do the outside stuff, we do the inside stuff, we mow the yard, we do the dishes, we take care of our kids, we go to work, we do all the shopping, all the grocery stuff, anything and everything. We do it by ourselves. We're not here to raise you. We don't need you, but we really want you. We want your help. We want you to understand that we can't just drop and go. Please, just understand, okay?
We want your help. Men, we don't need you. We want your help. Okay, so like, what do you want, like a clap on the back or something, or like a congratulations for doing these things that you're supposed to be doing? The thing is, if all of these things are so difficult to you, maybe you should ensure that the man that you have a child with is either going to stay if he left, or one that you want to keep around because he has good qualities. Okay, you can't go out here. And I don't know this woman's exact story. For all we know, she could be a widow or something to that effect, guys. But on average, they are not. Okay, so, you know, she might be in that particular situation, but more often than not, they're not. They'll shove the dude out of the family unit, and then they'll complain when they need help from men for the situation that they themselves put themselves into. So guys, we're going to be calling that section right there, and I had a few points that I wanted to go over with you gentlemen as we continue on with today's episode. What I wanted to jump into you with now is some of the things that I've written down that ruin men's lives, and this has to do with single mothers, guys, because as you can guess it, single mothers are on this particular list. So I've got here a list of 5 points, and this is going to be the discussion for today, of some of the things that ruin men's lives. And the first thing that I have on that list, guys, at one of the top, right, is single mothers, right? And the reason why I say single mothers, guys, is because they are such it's kind of like you're driving a car, right? but you just have like parachutes on the back, or you're hitting the brakes at the exact same time and you're spinning your wheels. Okay, single mothers, as you saw in the last clip, they will expect you to invest because they need help, right? They need help with this, they need help with that, and all of a sudden your career's behind, your gym routine is behind, you can't find a groove in life because you're expected to come along and to supplicate a woman who, mind you, is not going to let you discipline her child, right? But you will still have all of the responsibility. I did a huge video, guys, literally covering this topic of why you shouldn't date single mothers, and there are so many reasons why you shouldn't. Like, I did a bunch of reasons in that video, but there are certainly way more than I mentioned right there. But that's at the very top of the list, guys, is single mothers are one of the leading causes that ruin men's lives. And I have to roast the men a bit here for a second, guys. If you're a dude and you're out here and you're getting involved with single mothers, I would encourage you to take a second look at your standards and maybe have a little bit more self-respect, okay? A lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll go out and date single mothers because they think that that's the best that they can do, and they'll put up with terrible behavior because they think that they can't find another girl. Well, let me tell you this, guys. It is oftentimes, in fact, always, better to be alone and by yourself, working on your grind, than being with a girl who is an absolute nuisance to your life, okay? Now, the second thing that I have here that ruin men's lives is marriage. Okay, so I want you guys to imagine for a moment that any of the women that we covered on today's episode, you were to go out here and get married to. What an absolutely terrible idea that would be, okay? Because all of a sudden, first of all, you have to deal with the person, and that's going to be a giant pain in your ass. But second of all, when you get married, you are now on the hook. You now have so much risk associated with you just for dealing with this woman. And it's gotten to the point in the West, guys, where like the risk just absolutely isn't worth it. I don't care if the woman expects marriage. I don't care if she expects this and she wants a ring so that she can show off to her friends and stuff like that. The thing is that if you as a man are getting out here and you're wanting to get married, you are running you're basically playing a game where you risk everything and the reward is quite literally nothing. Like, what do you get out of it? You're not just signing a contract with a woman. I've said this before. You are entering into a contract with your woman and also the government at the same time. So that's the second thing right there that ruins men's lives, is marriage. And the third one here, which I've wanted to talk about for quite some time, is listening to useless idiots who have no idea what they're talking about. Guys, I remember, okay, when I was younger, I was working at an electronics store. Okay, and when I started working there, they run you through the training and whatever, and they teach you how to do everything and where everything is and how to speak to customers and, run the machine at the back, run the till, okay? And the two women that managed the particular store, this is when I was quite young, the two women that ran the particular store were unsuccessful in every dimension of their life, okay? They had no long-term partner. I think one of them had a partner, but things were going absolutely terribly. You could just tell. I think the other one was unironically a single mother as well. But these women would always insist that things be done their way and they know what they're talking about and all this kind of stuff. And these women, bear in mind, guys, I think they were in like one was in their 30s, one was in their 40s or something like that. And they're working at this store where I was able to work with like essentially no qualifications or anything like that and just come in and begin working at. And these people have the biggest ego of all time. And I'm expected to listen to them. Guys, after I stopped working there, I looked back and these guys, these two girls are still working there years later, having progressed their life not at all, and yet they're out here with positions telling other people what to do. This is the same thing with teachers, guys. A lot of the teachers in the public education system are teaching kids absolute nonsense, and their lives are absolutely miserable in every dimension. And yet we have, kids who are supposed to sit here and listen to these idiots dribble on and take everything that they have to say on board and to take it seriously. Like, what does your teacher, Margaret, know about business? Okay, why are we out here listening to business teachers who make no money? Why are we out here listening to, physical education teachers who are overweight? Why are we listening to, what are they called? social English teachers, I guess you'd call them, the arts teachers and crap like that, talk about gender pronouns rather than actually doing some mathematics, right? All of this is just absolute garbage. So that's the third point that I would say that ruins men's lives, guys, is listening to the wrong people, listening to useless idiots who have no idea what the hell that they're talking about, because if you listen to them, you're going to waste a hell of a lot of your time. Now, the next point that I have here is, and this is a good one, probably one of my favorites, is not taking responsibility for your own decisions. Now, I know I've certainly done this in the past, guys, 100% guilty of this myself. But one thing that I don't think a lot of dudes understand, like whenever I talk to a guy and he lacks ambition or he doesn't seem to have a drive or something like that, I kind of look at him and I'm like, man, are you hoping that some dude's gonna, your parents gonna come along or your girlfriend's gonna come along and just kick you in the butt and like make you succeed? Because the truth is, as a man, nobody gives a crap if you succeed or not. Like this is the kind of stuff that it's on you. Your parents aren't always going to be there to try and insist that you get good grades if you're fortunate enough to have them, right? A lot of girls, if you have a girlfriend and stuff like that, they'll consider it a plus a lot of the times if you gain a few extra pounds, a few extra kilograms, because now you're not as competitive in the dating market, crap like this. Like guys who don't have a vested interest in their own self are going to run into a hell of a lot of problems. And I think this is one of the things that ruins a lot of dudes' lives, is because they just kind of coast through it, hoping that someone else is going to care enough about them to kick their butt into gear. And all of a sudden they're 40 years old and they're, struggling to make ends meet and stuff like that. And I don't want that to be anyone who is watching this video at this point. Now, this last point that I have here on things that ruin men's lives, guys, is this is a good one, is going to university. University, gentlemen, is a business. It is absolutely a business, okay? And it takes all of the suckers, guys. It takes all of the people, and it sells them a dream, okay? You get this little piece of paper, you get this, you get that, and then all of a sudden, right, you get this little PhD here on gender studies. And I say gender studies, guys, but really, like, they do a lot of the times try and make the things look as though they're worthwhile getting, but they're really not. If you are not out here studying to be a doctor, and I would say lawyer, but lawyers have like some of the highest unsuccess rates because they pump out so many of the degrees each year. Like if you're not out here studying to be a lawyer or an engineer or something like that, and you haven't got, like, don't even bother with university, gentlemen. And the reason why I say this, guys, is because universities are a business where they are incentivized to get people to enroll in their courses, enroll in their programs for useless degrees. Anytime I come across an individual and they tell me that they are somewhere in the social sciences and they're not in like straight up psychology, becoming a psychiatrist or something like that, because those people make stupid amounts of money, I just kind of laugh to myself, like, oh, you're doing sociology or some crap. It's like, okay, you're basically paying to be brainwashed. You're paying to be a little follower who does what you're told with your little piece of paper, which, by the way, is absolutely worthless. Now, guys, we're going to be calling today's episode there. I think I've rambled on long enough. Make sure you leave some of your comments to today's video, gentlemen. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and don't forget to subscribe to our newest member, Detective Warg. I'm going to get my editor to again put up a graphic of his channel, guys. He is going to be linked in the video description, guys. So if you want to see more daily content, make sure that you go and check him out. And without further ado, guys, we're going to be leaving it there. So make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. We are currently looking to expand fiendish content creation behind the scenes, so if you are interested in becoming a content creator alongside me, be sure to check out the application form at the very bottom of the video description. This is for those of you who are interested in becoming a part of the content that you see here on YouTube. So if you're interested in applying, make sure to get in quick. People who apply first will have priority for consideration. Again, the link is at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there are links to both Patreon and Locals below the video, guys. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the supporters on those two platforms. You guys allow me to make these episodes, and your support is greatly appreciated. As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I will catch you later for real this time, guys. Peace.